The way these things are designed, when they pop, they pop. However, in a small town in Illinois, a man named Charles Navarro has been studying these engines for 20 years and figuring out how to make them bulletproof. I am here at beautiful LN Engineering, and over the next couple of days, I'll be transforming this dusty core motor into the new heartbeat of the Project Porsche. First things first, we gotta fully disassemble it and figure out why it failed in the first place. With the intake off, we can expose all the goodies.
Bro, there's a peanut in here. Did you put this here?
This peanut collector is named Andy. He's got a degree in metallurgy, drove a pink Geo Metro in the military, and his dog can bounce, so I trust him. Once we stripped everything off the top of the motor, I just had to take a step back and marvel at how weird it looks. The pistons in this engine move side to side as opposed to up and down like in an inline or V6. Its flat shape allows for a lower center of gravity and better handling. But they are complex. This engine even requires specialized tools to take it apart without breaking it. Each one of these camshafts is $1,100 used. And if you don't support them with that tool and you take the valve covers off, you can break them. Once we got the cylinder heads off, we can take a look at the bores and confirm that it wasn't bore scored that killed this motor, but I have a sneaking suspicion as to what did.
Yeah, guys, we just keep finding peanuts in the motor.
Dude.
We popped the oil pan off, and lo and behold, there's RTV in the oil pickup tube, which is a very Subaru thing to do. Instead of a single piece block, this engine uses a split crankcase design with a crankshaft carrier in the middle. It is so complex, it makes the engine in my S14 look like a Montessori toy. And right at the end of the disassembly, deep in the motor, we found the culprit. The intermediate or IMS shaft is in charge of driving your timing chains, and it is also supported by a single, sealed, grease-packed ball bearing. So Charles and his friend Jake came up with a solution.
Why do you put a sealed bearing inside the engine? I looked at that bearing and I said, this is stupid. That needs to be a plain bearing. I invented the IMS solution that night.
IMS Solution utilizes a spin-on oil filter adapter to provide clean, filtered, and pressurized oil to the IMS Solution's plain bearing through a specially designed IMS bearing flange assembly.
That bearing, per the Eisen class action suit, only had like a 1% failure rate. Okay? But that was 15 years ago.
This is so common that most people won't even consider buying one of these cars without the bearing being changed.
So you don't even have to go buy my stuff. Change the damn bearing.
But ditch the ball bearings because this one had been replaced with another ball bearing and it still failed.
I mean, it feels like crap when you press it in.
We got a lot to do, a whole bunch of dirty parts to make look brand new, so stay tuned. Fire. I bought the cheapest Porsche 911 I could afford and the motor blew up. The car is now mechanically totaled and my dumbass cannot fix it. Because the way these things are designed, when they pop, they pop. However, in a small town in Illinois, a man named Charles Navarro has been studying these engines for 20 years and figuring out how to make them bulletproof. I am here at beautiful LN Engineering, and over the next couple of days, I'll be transforming this dusty core motor into the new heartbeat of the Project Porsche. First things first, we gotta fully disassemble it and figure out why it failed in the first place. With the intake off, we can expose all the goodies.
Bro, there's a peanut in here. Did you put this here?
This peanut collector is named Andy. He's got a degree in metallurgy, drove a pink Geo Metro in the military, and his dog can bounce, so I trust him. Once we stripped everything off the top of the motor, I just had to take a...
Give me your Mount Rushmore of Rockstar game characters.
Oh my God. I'm gonna put Arthur Morgan up there. Trevor, because he's insane. I'm putting Michael on there. I'm putting CJ on there. I'm putting Franklin on there. I'm sorry, there's more than 4 heads. And then I'm gonna put Tommy Vercetti on there. I mean, sorry, I'm also gonna put John Marston on there. I got to.
Give me your Mount Rushmore of Rockstar game characters.
I can't believe
I added a twist to the lamb party we had here at the office to celebrate Thanksgiving. This time we added handicaps and some of them sucked. Every person just had to roll the dice one total time and that determined what handicap they'd have to apply for the next hour of gaming. Despite our benchmarker Sam bringing in this absolute tank 5080 Doom PC, he got bottlenecked with a 20-inch 900p 75Hz monitor and somehow he still topped the leaderboards. Our build's operations manager Nick only games with a controller at home, but sure enough, he rolled the OG Steam controller and had a miserable hour with it in Halo Infinite. My wife got the controller as well, but this was during Pummel Party, so it wasn't a big deal. I got stuck with these stupid white grippy gloves, but I put them to use and gave the good boy Griffin some pets of a lifetime. And at the end, Sam just needed another challenge, I guess, so he put the money sign glasses back on. Somehow he still dominated, so there's a reason why he's the one that records our gameplay clips here at ZTT. I added a twist to the LAN party we had here at the office to celebrate Thanksgiving. This time we added handicaps and some of them sucked. Every person just had to roll the dice one total time and that determined what handicap they'd have to apply for the next hour of gaming. Despite our benchmarker Sam bringing in this absolute tank 5080 Doom PC, he got bottlenecked with a 20-inch 900p 75Hz monitor and somehow he still topped the leaderboards. Our build's operations manager Nick only games with a controller at home, but sure enough, he rolled the OG Steam controller. I opened.
Why did I get the back seat?
Oh my god, is that why you've been silently stewing? Here.
Okay, you made your point. Move me back. Don't be a dick!
Can't hear you.
Quiet down, you two. The ship up ahead. SS Assassination. Think that's them? All right, let me get up alongside them.
What are we gonna do?
Watch and learn.
Great work, sir.
I have my moments.
Adam's signal is in that biodome. Also, holy shit, I'm on the moon.
Keep it in your pants, Banks.
Why did I get the back seat?
Oh my god, is that why you've been silently stewing? Here.
Okay, you made your point. Move me back. Don't be a dick!
Can't hear you.
Quiet down, you two. The ship up ahead. SS Assassination. Think that's them? All right, let me get up alongside them.
What are we gonna do?
Watch and learn.
How you doing, man? So it's just the HDMI, right? Yeah, I don't even need that cable. You gotta be careful with this, because if you move your stuff around with it plugged in like that, you're gonna pull it. You're gonna stress the connectors on it. You don't want to do that. Yeah.
You be doing it like that too.
Yeah. That's how the HDMI port gets weak. When you keep it plugged in, you got to pull it out. Yeah. Yeah, I see where the damage is at right there.
It's like wiggly.
Yeah.
No, Karen, what's going on up there?
The Chitauri core is detonated and caused severe structural damage to the elevator.
My friends are up there. What? Don't worry, ma'am. Everything's gonna be okay. Oh my god, that's tall.
Oh my god, look at the ceiling.
Just stay calm, everyone. Estimating 10 minutes before catastrophic failure.
I know that was scary, but our safety systems are working.
Safety systems are completely failing.
We're very safe in here.
The occupants are in imminent mortal danger. You now have 125 seconds until catastrophic failure.
What? Why?
Unexpected motion has caused the deterioration to escalate.
How do I get in there?
Activating reconnaissance drone.
Whoa. Has that been there this whole time? That's awesome.
Proceed to southwest window. What's wrong? Why are you hesitating?
Never been this high before.
You have also not reinstalled your parachute, so a fall from this height would most likely be lethal.
Perfect. Why is it not breaking?
It's 4-inch ballistic glass. You'll have to create more momentum.
DC Metro Police, return to the ground immediately! Return to the ground immediately! Return to the ground or we will open fire!
I got this.
This is your last chance!
I'm gonna die. I did it!
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, big bad guy. Quit moving around.
Sorry, sir.
Everybody out. Move it, people. You're okay. Okay.
This is your chance, Peter. Kiss her.
Thank you.
Are you really friends with Peter Parker?
I'm telling you, Sue. Decide with me and eliminate all of those brats before they caused any more trouble.
It's over and you lost.
Wow, you really aren't going to give an inch, are you? I was holding the reins, you know. The reins on all the monsters that threaten this world.
So what do you think will happen to the world of pirates now?
Let me answer that question with one of my own. Is there anyone who rules these seas who can rein them in? Who possesses the most power? One of the 4 emperors, perhaps? Or the 7 warlords? Maybe the brats from the worst generation running wild? Not quite. After all, we can't ignore the Navy, swinging around their hammer of justice. Or the formidable fighters of the Revolutionary Army. Or will those with the will of D who walk in the shadows of history? When and where will they decide to show themselves? Who's gonna side with who? Who will betray who? I have a message for you to give the Celestial Dragons in Marie Joie. Tell them they will be dragged from their gilded halls. It's been 25 years since Gold Roger conquered the Grand Line, and no one's done it since. His rival Whitebeard stood before the throne, but met his end having never sat upon it. So what happens now, you think? There are more pirates running wild out there than ever before, but there's just one empty seat. You get it now? All those pirates are about to have a struggle for supremacy. The greatest in history! Are we headed to Impel Down? In that case, I have a small request. I need you to bring me a newspaper every day. Then at least I'll never be bored. I'm telling you, Sue. Decide with me and eliminate all of those brats before they caused any more trouble.
It's over and you lost.
Wow, you really aren't going to give an inch, are you? I was holding the reins, you know. The reins on all the monsters that threaten this world.
So what do you think will happen to the world of pirates now?
Let me answer that question with one of my own. Is there anyone who rules these seas who can rein them in? Who possesses the most power? One of the 4 emperors, perhaps? Or the 7 warlords? Maybe the brats from the worst generation running wild? Not quite. After all, we can't ignore the Navy, swinging around their hammer of justice. Or the formidable fighters of the Revolutionary Army. Or will those with the will of D who walk in the shadows of history? When and where will they decide to show themselves? Who's gonna side with who? Who will betray who? I have a message for you to give the Celestial Dragons in Marie Joie. Tell them they will be dragged from their gilded halls. It's been 25 years since Gold Roger conquered the Grand Line, and no one's done it since. His rival Whitebeard stood before the throne, but met his end having never sat upon it. So what happens now, you think? There are more pirates running wild out there than ever before, but there's just one empty.
So there's this illustrator named Lubia, who recently went insanely viral after posting an illustration comparing beauty styles across Japan, Korea, and China. And nah, bro, people were obsessed. It wasn't just the faces, the makeup, the hairstyles, even the overall vibe. Perfectly matched how people stereotype each country's beauty standards. The Korean girl gave off a mature, elegant vibe. The Japanese girl looked super cute, like the wholesome schoolgirl archetype. And then there was China. Nah, bro, mommy. Bro really cooked with this one. So there's this illustrator named Lubia who recently went insanely viral after posting an illustration comparing beauty styles across Japan, Korea, and China. And nah, bro, people were obsessed. It wasn't just the faces, the makeup, the hairstyles, even the overall vibe. Perfectly matched how people stereotype each country's beauty standards. The Korean girl gave off a mature, elegant vibe. The Japanese girl looked super cute, like the wholesome schoolgirl archetype. And then there was China. Nah, bro, mommy. Bro really cooked with this one. So there's this illustrator named Lubia who recently went insanely viral after posting an illustration comparing beauty styles across Japan, Korea, and China. And nah, bro, people were obsessed. It wasn't just the faces, the makeup, the hairstyles, even the overall vibe. Perfectly matched how people stereotype each country's beauty standards. The Korean girl gave off a mature, elegant vibe. The Japanese girl looked super cute, like the wholesome schoolgirl archetype. And then there was China. Nah, bro, mommy. Bro really cooked with this one. So there's this illustrator named Lubia who recently went...
Jim?
My Lord Ashford? Oh, wow.
Two Lily Elves?
Wait! Give me 1 moment, please. This is my first time in Japan. My first time in Japan. Howdy! This is my first time in Japan. I never met another Lily Elf fan before. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm excited too.
Whoa! Two Lily Elves?
I know exactly what Lilia would do with Lord Ashford. What is he doing with another Lily Elf? I don't like it.
Risa? Wait, is she jealous? Are the Lily Elves fighting over Lord Ashford now? Did this ever happen in the manga?
My Lord Ashford? Oh, wow.
Two Lily Elves?
Wait! Give me 1 moment, please. This is my first time in Japan. My first time in Japan. Howdy! This is my first time in Japan. I never met another Lily Elf fan before. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm excited too.
Whoa! Two Lily Elves?
I know exactly what Lilia would do with Lord Ashford. What is he doing with another Lily Elf? I don't like it.
Risa? Wait, is she jealous? Are the Lily Elves fighting over Lord Ashford now? Did this ever happen in the manga?
My Lord Ashford? Oh, wow.
Two Lily Elves?
Wait! Give me 1 moment, please. This is my first time in Japan. My first time in Japan. Howdy! This is my first time in Japan. I never met another Lily Elf fan before. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm excited too.
Whoa! Two Lily Elves?
I know exactly what Lilia would do with Lord Ashford. What is he doing with another Lily Elf? I don't like it.
Risa? Wait, is she jealous? Are the Lily Elves fighting over Lord Ashford now? Did this ever happen in the manga?
My Lord Ashford? Oh, wow.
Two Lily Elves?
Wait! Give me 1 moment, please. This is my first time in Japan. My first time in Japan. Howdy! This is my first time in Japan. I never met another Lily Elf fan before. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm excited too.
Whoa! Two Lily Elves?
I know exactly what Lilia would do with Lord Ashford. What is he doing with another Lily Elf? I don't like it.
Risa? Wait, is she jealous? Are the Lily Elves fighting over Lord Ashford now? Did this ever happen in the manga?
My Lord Ashford? Oh, wow.
Two Lily Elves?
Wait! Give me 1 moment, please. This is my first time in Japan. My first time in Japan. Howdy! This is my first time in Japan. I never met another Lily Elf fan before. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm excited too.
Whoa! Two Lily Elves?
I know exactly what Lilia would do with Lord Ashford. What is he doing with another Lily Elf? I don't like it.
Risa? Wait, is she jealous?
Vance knelt before Arsmeria, ready to undertake the ritual of reincarnation, even at the cost of his life, so he could stay beside her in a world without conflict. A voice called out from behind, chasing after him as he walked away from the mansion. Lloyd spun around and offered to deliver the reports himself, since he was already headed to see his mother. 8 years had passed since his new life began. 1,000 years after his previous one. Once the escort knight of the Sky Empire, he now lived under the name Lloyd. He knocked and entered the room. Inside sat Mayuria. his adoptive mother and head of the Fearless family, greeting him warmly as he stepped in with the documents. Her strong mana carried charm magic that activated even without her intending it, and she apologized as a faint blush colored her cheeks. Lloyd admitted he had unconsciously resisted the spell, but Mayuria brushed off his modesty, praising him for defending against it so easily. She noted that his mana was colorless, transparent yet clearly strong enough to guard against her magic, admitting she still had more to learn as a mother. Lloyd expressed his gratitude for being taken in from the monastery, despite having no blood relation, promising he would do anything he could for her. Miria pulled him into a tight embrace, delighted by his devotion, while Lloyd winced under the pressure of the hug. Just then, another voice cut through the room demanding to know what the two of them were doing. Canon, Mayuria's daughter and wielder of healing magic, stood frustrated that she had been waiting while her mother rested only with Lloyd. Mayuria invited her over too, but Canon pouted, asking why Lloyd alone got to monopolize their mother's attention. Despite her sharp words, Canon quickly gave in and joined the embrace. Unable to resist her attachment to Mayuria, Mayuria remarked that things felt different when it came to Lloyd, leaving him standing quietly aside. Canon suggested he try calling her brother instead of using his name, while a maid mentioned that tea had been prepared. Mayuria admitted that despite everything, Lloyd remained gentle and considerate, promising she would encourage the idea if the right moment came. The two women discussed how Lloyd possessed magic ability yet never displayed it, and no one knew what attribute his colorless mana truly held. Curious, Mayuria wondered aloud what kind of magic Lloyd wielded, hoping to see it for herself someday. Canon clung tightly to her mother, declaring she had no intention of ever giving Lloyd the chance to take her away, while Lloyd watched from a distance, wishing only to get along with her. Lloyd excused himself awkwardly, wondering how he could ever manage a normal friendly conversation with her before deciding to go enjoy some tea instead. Marietta, the head maid and education manager for Lloyd and Canon, poured him a cup of first flush Sentia tea, earning his thanks for a flavor that never disappointed. When she offered to leave him in peace with the other maids, Lloyd insisted she join him instead, admitting he always learned so much from her company. Marietta gently teased that he seemed skilled at invitations himself, pulling out a rock candy stick from the human empire and settling in for a proper rest together. As she poured, she explained how the first flush captured the scent of spring and the taste of young grass, leaves brought in from the Saint Empire. She added that such variety was only possible thanks to flourishing trade, grateful to enjoy teas made from ingredients gathered across different countries. Lloyd's thoughts drifted back 1,000 years to when the armistice barrier had first been raised and the war between the 7 countries had finally stopped. He remembered himself then, a knight of the Sky Empire whose pride and dignity resonated the moment he met the Empress, Arsmelia Rune Michia. To end the endless conflict, she had cast the armistice barrier at the risk of her own life. The life-consuming magic had taken a heavy toll, seizing away a portion of her remaining lifespan, so Arsmelia and Vance made their decision together to be reborn through the ritual of reincarnation. Pressing their hands together, they vowed to witness with their own eyes a world finally free of war. And so 1,000 years passed by in that promise. Reborn into this new era, Lloyd had been adopted into the Countess family by Mayuria and had begun walking forward in this second life. Though something still weighed on him, he recalled Arsmelia's own words that she was still searching for someone, still holding on to the wish to see this world beside him. Just as the door creaked open and a voice called his name, Marietta wrapped him in a hug and asked if something was troubling him again, noting how deep in thought he always seemed lately, though he brushed it off as nothing serious. She asked directly whether it concerned improving his relationship with Canon, catching him completely off guard. Startled, Lloyd wondered nervously if she had somehow read straight through his heart. Marietta suggested that with the guest's arrival approaching, this might be the perfect chance for him to have a quiet conversation with Canon while they waited. Lloyd thanked her warmly for the idea, and as they turned toward the door together, the two bumped into each other by accident. Caught off guard in the doorway, Lloyd apologized for the collision, and Canon blushed as she brushed past him without a word. She thanked him quietly for opening the door, and he stepped back to let her go through first. Guiding her by the hand, he led her forward, though the touch left her flustered, her cheeks burning as she stammered for him not to hold on so tightly. Left alone, he sighed at himself for the awkward exchange, wondering privately if his clumsiness had once irritated Arsmelia the same way. Canon admitted she had spoken too sharply earlier, confessing she'd grown irritated because her precious time with her mother always shrank whenever guests came to visit. Lloyd pointed out that she truly loved her mother, and when she asked if it was the same for him, he answered simply that it certainly was. A knock interrupted them, and Lloyd straightened as the sound echoed through the room. Victor Rosewald, the elder son of the Viscount serving Mayuria, arrived with a confident smirk greeting Canon, and remarking that she seemed to be in good spirits. He explained he had come to discuss a matter concerning her magical strength, brushing past Lloyd as though he weren't even there. Canon asked what exactly this discussion was about, and Victor declared that as Countess Mayuria's child, she was expected to carry outstanding innate magical talent worth witnessing firsthand. He pressed further, noting that despite sharing neither her hair color nor her eyes, Canon was still destined to succeed Mayuria and take her place as Countess one day. Lloyd recognized the remark for what it was, an unsubtle provocation meant to unsettle her, one she didn't need to dignify with a response. Yet Canon straightened with quiet resolve, apparently intending to accept the challenge and show her strength regardless. Victor grinned, suggesting this wasn't the right place for such a demonstration, and that they ought to relocate. He led them into the forest, explaining the mana test, a tradition long used by the Fearless family to measure a person's true strength, and offered to carry it out himself. When Canon protested that this wasn't meant to be a fight, Victor waved off her concern, telling her there was no need to take such a defensive stance. Lloyd followed close behind, prompting Victor to ask pointedly why he had bothered coming along at all. Victor allowed it grudgingly, warning him only to stay out of the way, muttering that someone with no blood tied to the Countess had no real business here, though he'd sooner or later try something regardless. Canon, surprised, asked if he simply wanted to see how her magic worked, to which Victor proposed a wager, that if he won, he'd like to ask a favor from her at dawn, and he'd undergo the same mana test himself to prove his point, declaring that comparing directly against himself was the simplest way to confirm whether her power measured up. Lloyd stepped forward, calling out the unfairness of unleashing an evil spirit without warning, questioning whether such cowardice truly suited the noble bearing Victor claimed to hold so highly. Victor's confidence cracked as he stammered, insisting Lloyd was supposed to stay out of the way instead of interfering. Lloyd declared he would protect Canon even if it meant breaking the rules, calling out the surprise attack as nothing close to a fair duel, unnecessary support brought along only to overwhelm them both during the test. When Victor sneered and called him a mongrel, Lloyd answered simply that Canon was his precious family standing firm despite the insult. Victor mocked him further, claiming he could feel nothing but weak, colorless mana from him, questioning how a countess could have taken in a child with no magic at all. Canon snapped, ordering Victor not to say another cruel word about her brother, her voice sharp with anger as she moved to shield him. Trembling with rage, Victor gritted his teeth, spitting out that being part of a countess's household without blood ties gave him no right to be called family at all. Suddenly his own mana surged out of control, the magic item he wielded overwhelming him as the evil spirit broke free from his grip entirely. Lloyd pulled Canon close, asking her to trust him just this once, acknowledging that her healing, focused magic left her at a real disadvantage against a spirit wielding multiple attributes at once. He extended his hand, promising that if she got hurt, he would share that pain equally, and told her simply that they would fight this together. Canon watched in disbelief as unfamiliar mana colors swirled around him, and Victor demanded to know what trick he was sneaking in. Accusing Canon of laughing at his expense, a brilliant shield burst to life around them, and Victor stared in shock, unable to understand how someone with supposedly no magic could summon anything, let alone a defense far beyond simple healing. Kanan gasped, recognizing the pattern as her brother's magic taking shape before her eyes. Victor unleashed another attack, boasting that a mere flickering flame would be erased instantly by the force of his wind. Yet the attack failed to land, leaving Victor stunned as he realized his spell had somehow been cancelled outright by whatever colors Lloyd now commanded. Lloyd revealed the truth plainly, that his mana carried no color of its own, which was exactly why he could shift it into any color he needed. He warned Kanan that the next evil spirit would strike at her foot, telling her to dodge first, and they would cancel the spell together right after. Kanan moved exactly as instructed, and Victor watched in disbelief as she anticipated every attack, calling her performance nothing short of amazing. Lloyd encouraged her to stay calm and let her body feel the flow of the fight, urging her forward as she gathered her strength for the next strike. The spirits of water and darkness still loomed ahead, and Kanan surged forward with a burst of energy, determined to finish what remained of the fight. Kanan declared it over, her voice steady as she stood beside Lloyd. While Victor knelt in the dark, muttering bitterly about the lies behind this method, Lloyd confirmed the mana test outcome had become clear, that Victor's win against the evil spirits came only from borrowing his father's strength. Enraged, Victor lunged forward with a blade in hand, screaming that none of this would have happened if Lloyd hadn't been there at all. Gripping his fist tight, Lloyd demanded to know how far Victor intended to stray from the path of chivalry, declaring flatly that he would not forgive him for this. Lloyd read the flow of battle before him, letting momentum pass without collision, using only the minimum strength required. Every movement of muscle, every creak of bone. He moved between the blade and its target, catching the strike meant for another. His shield turned aside the void, protecting the unarmed knight behind him. The enemy's sword scraped against his guard as bodies collided and steel rang out. The defeated enemy staggered back through the trees, calling him a monster before collapsing. Lloyd watched in silence, blood trailing down his cheek, his expression unreadable. He brushed off his wound, insisting it was nothing but a little blood. Kanan came running through the brush, calling out to her brother, her voice breaking with worry. She threw herself into his arms, clutching him tightly. His eyes widened in surprise at the sudden embrace, unsure how to react to her closeness. Tears welled in her eyes as she told him that his pain was her pain too. Despite having exhausted her strength using healing magic throughout the fight, she reached for him again, determined to ease what remained of his injury. Flustered by her own outburst, Kanan flailed and stammered, red-faced. Lloyd stared at her, struck by a quiet thought she really was like an angel. Walking back together, Kanan admitted she wasn't imagining things. Ever since the battle, she had somehow been able to hear his thoughts in her mind. She asked what he had done to cause it, recalling the strange moment when her magic seemed to merge completely with his. He explained it was mana sympathy, their mana had linked their hearts, letting them communicate through thought alone. Kanan marveled at the discovery, still trying to understand how a simple bond had formed into a contract between them. He told her it was because she had believed in him in that instant that he could draw her strength by combining their mana. That bond, he said, still connected them even now. He thanked her for fighting beside him, promising to keep protecting her from that day forward. Kanan vowed the same in return, declaring she would protect him if he was ever in danger. He countered that he would protect her more, telling her firmly not to get hurt until she was old enough to look after herself. The two shared a light, easy laugh, the tension of battle fading behind them. They agreed to return to the mansion, mindful that Victor still needed to be dealt with. At the mansion doors, the maids expressed relief, simply to see them both safe. Orders followed quickly, bring Victor back from the forest and report the incident to Mayuria. Lloyd asked to accompany them but was told to return to his room instead, as Mayuria intended a private conversation with Viscount Rosewald. The maid explained the magic circle in the room would link to one in the adjoining chamber, letting them hear everything spoken there, and offered him a seat. She reassured him it wasn't eavesdropping, the record room existed solely to watch over the family head. Mayuria began speaking of things normally reserved for someone older, telling him it was a little early for him to know about it. Though she acknowledged the talent he'd been recognized for, she wanted him to understand what truly defined the duty of a family head if he was willing to listen. Behind the closed door, Lloyd sat listening from the record room while, on the other side, a maid finished settling the last of the monthly expense reports before the real conversation began. Viscount Rosewald, Victor's father, stepped forward with confidence, claiming that among the 3 viscounts serving the Countess family, his own had developed their fiefdom the most, urging Mayuria to check the documents herself. He moved to excuse himself quickly after delivering his claim, but Mayuria stopped him, asking if he had nothing else to report. She revealed she had investigated the matter herself. Tax revenue in his domain hadn't risen at all, despite population growth and clear development. She pressed him directly on why the numbers didn't match. Cornered, Rosewald stammered a denial, insisting he wasn't doubting her, while Mayuria reminded him that fabrication from even one noble family could damage the country's trust to trust. The trust the Viscounts had pledged to the Sky Empire for generations. She continued, stating plainly that for such ambition to succeed, he needed only one thing to win against the Countess family in a real fight, all while quietly building power and cutting ties behind the scenes. Victor stumbled forward, panicked, asking his father if he had failed. Mayuria remained composed as she noted coldly that he had used even his own child for this scheme. Victor tried to explain himself, but his father cut him off with a sneer, denying he'd ever given such an order. Mayuria explained further. Victor, impatient to inherit the family's holdings, had challenged Kanan to prove himself, unaware that her aptitude lay in healing, not combat. She corrected the assumption that pure blood made someone worthier, noting Kanan's mana was of the light type and that she would grow strong enough to protect herself as a noble in time. Mayuria declared that gender made no difference in who protected, and who was protected nobles fought for pride, but above all, for the people of their domain. Her own children, Kanan and Lloyd, she said, were more than capable of that duty. She asked if her point hadn't been made clear enough already, then delivered her verdict. Rosewald's scheming would be handed to the Imperial Interrogation Office, and his son would be sent to a boarding school for re-education. Rosewald ground his teeth in silent fury before Mayuria dismissed him, stating there was nothing more to discuss. He sneered on his way out, muttering that people like her only had luck from inheriting past generations' work, calling her haughty before storming off. A maid shivered at what she'd witnessed, remarking on Rosewald's expression as he left. Back in the record room, Lloyd sat frozen as the maid knocked, startled by what he'd overheard. Another maid praised how magnificently Mayuria had handled it all. Mayuria then turned to Lloyd directly, asking if he'd heard everything too before admitting quietly that she had brought him there for a reason. Without saying it outright, she had played the role of a kind mother. Also, he would understand his purpose was to protect Kanan. Lloyd admitted he knew there were people who disliked the fact she had brought him here at all. Yet even so, hearing her conversation had made him feel proud to call her mother Mayuria. He told her plainly that he wanted to stay, to protect this house. As she walked ahead of him through the halls, she reminded him that when he grew older he would carry the same responsibility she did protecting Kanan until she became an adult herself. He grinned, admitting his mother was incredibly strong, but promised he would work just as hard to become strong in his own right. Mayuria's eyes softened, tears gathering as she said she was glad to hear him say that. She added quietly that he didn't need to worry about her, she was strong enough on her own though. Something in her voice trailed off, unfinished. Elsewhere, Kanan apologized to Marietta for scaring her earlier while another maid knocked gently, checking in on Miss Kanan. Kanan beamed, insisting it hadn't been scary at all, her brother had saved her. After all, as the maids exchanged a warm, knowing glance, Marietta excused herself politely, thanking Kanan in return while another maid urged Lloyd not to worry about them and to go on ahead. The group gathered close together, sharing a light, affectionate moment, agreeing warmly that they would stay friends from now on. Kanan suddenly suggested they all take a bath together, herself, her brother, and everyone else, catching Lloyd completely off guard. his surprise met with a startled splash. Lloyd readied himself for bathing beside Marietta, feeling nervous though submissive toward her request. Marietta softly directed Lloyd inside the bath, his face blushing while tension grew. She stepped closer cautiously, her presence intimidating Lloyd, who observed her aura had altered. Marietta examined Lloyd's forehead, anxious his fever might be increasing, his pulse racing fast. They lastly entered into the heated water jointly. Lloyd flustered, Marietta composed. The scene tense, Lloyd timidly followed Marietta, sensing he couldn't oppose the flow of events. He leaped inside the bath behind her, unsure whether he ought to delay more. Marietta gripped a younger girl, proposing to clean Lloyd's hair as mother cared tenderly. Lloyd welcomed the assistance, amazed when everyone moved together in the bath calmly. All three ladies got ready to help Lloyd, making him flustered yet comforted. Lloyd rested anxiously, recognizing it became his turn after Kanan finished bathing. Kanan walked toward him holding a towel, asking where she ought to start first. Lloyd paused, noting her heavenly presence as she ready to assist carefully. Kanan prompted him softly that his hand had guarded her earlier, clutching soap. She started washing him mindfully, inquiring about any itchy spots. Lloyd still flustered. Lloyd concluded with Kanan, feeling both relieved and anxious about the following turn. Marietta walked forward, expressing joy and anxiety while preparing to clean Lloyd. She beamed warmly, thanking Lloyd for bathing with everyone displaying tender affection. Marietta started massaging shampoo inside his hair, making Lloyd feel relaxed and sleepy. She gently cut and styled his hair, noting it had grown slightly too long. Throughout dinner, Kanan wiped sauce off Lloyd's face, displaying care and focus. Lloyd observed Marietta looked upset about losing her role, yet he comforted her inwardly. He sampled the fish, noting the meal had improved significantly compared to long past. Kanan softly called Lloyd's focus, silently attempting to share the dish with him. Lloyd smiled, recognizing he and Kanan were finally connecting, letting him pamper her gently. Kanan consumed her share of food. Lloyd reassured her, pledging support for next time. Marietta resolved to help make food simpler for Lloyd, scheming ahead with care. Kanan voiced her wish to cook herself, set to enjoy and manage her meals. The girls talked about helping and joining, consenting to contribute with joy and teamwork. Lloyd and Kanan beamed, united in preparing a great meal to surprise him together. Lloyd pondered on the dinner, joyful yet conscious the brief peace couldn't remain forever. He wondered whether Ars Maria had been reborn anywhere in the world set to find her. Lloyd understood he required aid for his quest, glancing toward Marietta with focus. He walked to her, sensing she held something vital to explain to him. Marietta directed Lloyd to drop by the study before sleep, hinting toward future counsel. Marietta concluded cleaning Lloyd, pointing out soap on his shoulder, calling him quiet and submissive. Lloyd finally unwound, believing he could take a rest following a hard day. He rested on his bed, scanning through books regarding magical beasts and forests nearby. Lloyd found a beast named Bastite, a guardian god of an ancient mountain town. Hearing dinner announced, Lloyd shut the book and ready to depart, curiosity remaining about Bastite. Lloyd rushed toward the study, sensing that a crucial topic waited urgently from his mother. Abruptly, a person placed their hands across his eyes, startling him and causing an immediate reaction. His mother completely showed herself, glowing with warmth and authority, which took him off balance. Expressing regret for his absence, Lloyd detailed the tasks that kept him occupied before. She comforted him tenderly, while Lloyd declared his loyalty, guarding Kanan with deep devotion. Hearing mindfully, Lloyd took in his mother's words, sensing her appreciation and eagerness to assist. Unwavering, he named the exact individual he sought, explaining why the matter was pressing. Grasping his determination, his mother pledged complete assistance, set to aid him reaching targets. Revealing the desired individual's name, Lloyd strengthened their joint mission and feeling of purpose. Shackles instantly emerged, binding him, while a shadowy figure drew near, generating a feeling of risk. Talking became hard for Lloyd, understanding, revealing the name carried heavy outcomes past comprehension. Thinking aloud, he asked if the rebirth ritual restricted him from disclosing past memories. Anger growing, he stretched toward the history volume, hoping the knowledge was noted clearly. Hugging him closely, his mother provided comfort while he struggled against unseen magical bonds. Lloyd apologized once more while she comforted him, noting he need not reveal everything forcefully. Feeling comforted, Lloyd's spirit quieted as his mother spoke, using warm and soothing words, applying soft magic. She aided him to relax, showing her care and tender empathy successfully. Inquisitive, he inquired if magic could assist locating the person he was seeking urgently. She advised care, noting the spell might work, but recommended prudent use prior to testing it. Unveiling a hidden volume, she clarified it was concealed inside the manor for search tasks. Firmly, Lloyd started reading the magical volume. Trusting it held the key clues he required. Walking cautiously at night, he gripped his mother's hand to prevent slipping on the path. She detailed the volume's origin, given by her father. Still keeping its magical power, locating a magic circle outside. They checked it mindfully, and Lloyd asked about its planned function. She explained the ritual, clarifying it involved the stars and asking answers from the heavens. Examining the stars together, Lloyd and his mother ready to ignite the magical circle mindfully. Clarifying the demand for blood, she detailed the secret job needed to finish the ritual. Stepping up, Lloyd pricked his finger carefully, comforting himself while he filled the needed magical job. Using soft magic, his mother cured him right away, healing the small cut with tender care. Guiding him, she highlighted, concentrating on the individual he sought while she cast the spell. Focusing together, they ready to watch the magical circle, searching for signs from the skies above. She clarified that the ritual could show more than stars, implying a hidden knowledge. Lloyd acted as the seeker, giving his blood carefully to turn on the magical process successfully. Focusing completely, he concentrated on the person he sought while the ritual power flowed outward. A glow emerged, showing the person lived in the same time, but it quickly vanished. Spotting the glow, Lloyd realized it hadn't disappeared entirely, but instead drifted away slightly. His mother disclosed that the light split into 6, meaning 6 figures had to be found. Meanwhile, the remaining princesses emerged across different realms, each unaware of the other's shared life. In the Holy Realm, one portion showed clearly, revealing her existence inside that large realm setting. Further portions emerged in the evil and human realms, each holding a piece of the soul. Viewing leftover portions across the Oni realm, Lloyd saw the scattered presence and their true sights. In the beast realm, he spotted several portions, validating the people he sought were spread far, floating smoothly. One portion emerged in the dragon realm, untouched by any power from below, set firmly. Lloyd swore to track all portions and join them back with Ars Maria forever. The 7 realms stayed in endless war across the lands during Sky Empire year 1014. Vance Shutararu made it to the royal castle, called by the ruler to talk about pressing matters. The ruler expressed her wish to see a world fully clean of combat and strife. She asked Vance about the potential results if all fights and disputes instantly vanished. Vance admitted doubt but promised to lead the ruler, hoping for a clear time together. The ruler swore to picture the future for Vance if he could not imagine it himself. For years passed prior to Vance meeting Sky ruler Ars Maria Rune Michia directly at the great castle. Citizens observed fearfully as the ruler turned on the famous armistice shield to halt all battles. Vance sprinted frantically across the castle, hoping to reach the ruler before the shield fully took force. Shouting her name, Vance pleaded with the ruler to stop, fearing things might happen far too fast. Fried ready to see the ruler, carrying his job as guard and defender of her majesty. Vance confronted Fried, asking why he failed to stop the ruler from using the armistice shield. Fried clarified the shield was a means to halt combat, even if it risked their ruler's life. The ruler gave up herself to reach the peaceful future she wanted for the world. She dared Vance, asking he face her directly, proving his heart to guard her majesty truly. Vance declared his wish to keep serving, guarding the following ruler as head of the order. Fried thought about wanting to battle beside Vance once again. Recalling their common history, Vance comforted Fried that honor and respect arrived easily, even without proving himself again. The ruler laid inside the room, Vance stepping to her after the armistice shield launch. She grieved over her brief rule, feeling remorse even after reaching peace and guarding the world. The 7 rulers accepted peace, crediting Vance's strength in ending the land-wide conflicts. Vance wondered if enduring until the formal meeting of the realms would even be viable. The ruler prompted him that merely a few hours remained prior to her soul vanishing completely. She pondered on the count of 4 years following deploying the armistice shield. Vance confessed the peace felt short and feared the combat wouldn't truly stop fully. The ruler watched Vance, seeing his voice stayed quiet despite the emotional weight of recent events. Vance stated he wouldn't weep, reminding the ruler she already knew the reason behind his choice. He offered his own life to guard hers until her time fully finished. Keeping his oath, Vance clarified that after that day, he turned into a new, stronger person. The ruler, tears within her eyes, named him a fool and the world's ultimate idiot. Vance stated his wish to carry out the ritual of reincarnation along with the ruler. He swore to view the world she pictured, no matter if it demanded a century or more. The ruler asked why he would offer such a vow filled with silent doubt. Vance comforted her that this wasn't the end for them, clutching her hand tightly. They shared a soft moment, united in hope, ready to face the future together. Vance was reborn 1,000 years after, starting a search for Ars Maria's split soul. Applying hidden magic, he discovered her soul was split into 6 distinct parts. Determined, Vance resolved he wouldn't surrender until he found every part. Even centuries after, he kept up his quest while joining magic academies to obtain knowledge. He understood that finding her meant tracking several people, each keeping a piece of her soul. Traveling carefully inside dense woods, Lloyd feels a giant deadly beast dropping from above. Suddenly, a massive monster leaps forward, crushing branches while Lloyd easily dodges every hit. Grinning proudly, Lloyd readied his first strike while the monster charges fiercely toward him, dodging quickly while airborne. He glides smoothly while the monster struggles to correct its path. With clean precision, Lloyd cuts through the air, beating the monster and staying totally collected. Trapped inside a narrow ravine, Lloyd gets surrounded while the deadly monster observes him closely. Launching a second move, he jumps high, barely dodging the beast's sharp and lethal blow. Mindfully studying shadows, Lloyd figures out a clear and safe route over the fierce beast's attack. Touchdown strategically on top of the monster, Lloyd claims triumph against Bastith past a tough and wild fight. Watching in shock, the monster displays surprise while Lloyd quietly rides ahead through the forest. Boldly holding the monster, Lloyd sees its huge growth since their very first meeting together. Kindly grinning, he recalls his 8-year-old dream to finally make peace with the monster. Lloyd inquires regarding the monster's ways, closely watching its replies and actions toward his questions. Sitting atop the monster, he describes his plans to join the World Magic College. Inquisitive, the monster hints it wishes to travel with Lloyd on his trip to the school. Voicing praise, the monster praises Lloyd's power, teasing him about following it in future journeys. Grinning setly, Lloyd declines any different title and promises they shall surely meet again. Heading back to the manor, he feels relieved, coming right on schedule for breakfast quickly. Spotting the smell of soup, Lloyd instantly feels pulled toward the freshly cooked morning food. Kanon softly asks Lloyd to taste the dish, having a sweet moment together happily. Lloyd samples the rich taste, amazed, while Kanon watches calmly, smiling with quiet hope nearby. Smiling warmly, Kanon reminds him to ready mindfully for the food while standing beside attentively. She requests a prayer prior to the table, stocked with a rich breakfast spread. Expressing thanks, the family offers appreciation for their food and honors blessings from above. Leaving the manor, Lloyd and Kanon wave goodbye toward Marietta and the loyal home staff. Comforting them, Marietta pledges to Lloyd that the whole household shall ever stay present for them. Voicing true thanks and love, Lloyd speaks to everyone before departing toward the magic school carefully. Marietta fixes Lloyd's tie, instructing him proper habits expected from a noble in any setting. Promising to try his best, Lloyd vows not to embarrass the high, fearless family watching curiously. The monster looks confused by its huge size compared with past meetings before. Lloyd clarifies that Bastith, the Lord of Cats, will carry them quickly to the magic school. Kanon holds tightly, while Lloyd reassures her that riding will prove totally safe during movement. Flying up into the air, they leave on Bastith's back, waving goodbye to the waiting manor. Lloyd and Kanon enter inside the World Magic School, wondering at massive spires and soaring beasts above. Pupils arrive from all 7 realms, each readied hard for the tough entrance test ahead. Lloyd travels a giant magic beast, flying high while steering Kanon safely across school lands. Kanon struggles to hold balance, sliding a bit while Lloyd grips her safely, blocking any drops. Safely on the ground, Lloyd and Kanon view the school, waiting for tests that lay ahead across the courtyard. Lloyd carries Kanon, pulling curious looks and quiet talks from nearby pupils around. Blushing deeply, Kanon feels shy as the crowd watches their rare. Eye-catching arrival mindfully watching the crowd. Lloyd stays steady while scanning for potential issues or sudden troubles nearby. A skilled pupil, Aurelis Grandshark, shows up with her fast dragon, blocking their path neatly across the square. Naming herself, Aurelis discloses her rank as the evil Empire Princess, signaling upcoming rival matches soon. Lloyd meets a new pupil, Elise Rosencrantz, who demands focus and gives directions to others nearby. Elise steps out as the Holy Empire Princess, shining authority and power, pulling everyone's careful focus instantly. Watching closely, Lloyd sees Aurelis and Elise matching up, strain building between holy and evil princesses. Nearby, he spots the Beast Empire Princess, feeling her huge magic dragon-related energy force nearby clearly. A few other princesses remain present while the Oni Empire Princess stays away. Completing the meeting's picture, Lloyd realizes that royal lines from every land have met together here for the coming test. Past conflict exists between the holy and evil realms, likely stirring a major fight very soon. This test could expand to a global problem, pulling focus and worry from all participating lands. Aurelis Grandshark aims to settle fights firmly, preparing for an unavoidable hard fight with rivals. Elise Rosencrantz steps up, sure of her holy magic, getting ready a planned magical fight properly. Asking about his readiness, Elise notes that Lloyd stays far too young to enter this academy. Mocking Elise, Aurelis calls her the small holy princess, showing their active feud with smart humor. Both princesses unleash their magic forces together, making dragons and energy to face one another. Hard, preparing carefully, they trade a chain of commandments, boosting their fight and raising immense magical presence. Starting her first move named Silence, Elise makes overlapping waves, leaving quiet echoing across the place. Both princesses' spells surprisingly fail to trigger, shocking them and bringing confusion during their hard clash. Kanon asks about Lloyd's action while he stays peaceful, quietly watching the sudden magical event calmly nearby. Through muting echo, Lloyd cancels the spell, blocking harmful results from the joint magical energy strikes. Comfort spreads as he understands the worst outcome got averted without injury to anyone. Shyly, Aurelis confesses dropping interest in the fight, closing the magical match quietly without more conflict. Elise asks pardon truly for bringing up years, confessing that it stays early for her to enter. Smiling, Aurelis answers, sharing that she looks ahead to ending the rival match. Right, another day. Willpower shines inside her eyes, displaying clearly that she isn't done facing the holy princess. Watching quietly, Lloyd notes that someone crude tampered with their magic from behind without getting caught. Preparing to go, Lloyd walks with Kanan, worried he might have pulled far too much focus earlier. Aurelis boldly states her goal, declaring she will turn into the top one day. Clearly driven, pupils fill the arena with energy, excitedly looking to the start of the key testing phase. Walking forward, Matilda Lindworm held focus, her presence signaling the start of official events firmly. Naming herself, she tested every student carefully, her keen gaze checking their readiness and skill. Pointing out students' achievements, she reminded all everyone must meet firm requirements without allowance. Princesses stood proudly resolved to handle trials, their talents set for the hard tests ahead. The team of princesses gathered, keeping composure while royal family members hid their secret magical powers. Explaining the mana determination test, Matilda detailed how 5 pupils would show their magical skills, speaking to the gathered crowd. She wished candidates good luck while stressing fairness during the review step. Driven, Lloyd weighed every option, determined to discover any detail regarding Ars Maria while succeeding. With the exam starting, his sister remained close while he got ready to display his talents. Prior to the test starting, Kanan stepped to her brother, hoping to enter the same team together. Gerdo answered softly yet playfully, displaying focus while showing care and worry for her heart. Feeling flustered, Kanan paused, apologizing as the quick nearness caught her by surprise suddenly. Another pupil argued, yet Gerdo smoothly backed Kanan, taking power and command over the event. Naming himself fully, he built a bond with Kanan. Winning her praise and rising regard, feeling a keen wish, Gerdo got ready to show his strong talents before the coming test. Bravely, he named himself as the Marquis House's 3rd child, pulling focus from everyone there. Kanan and Lloyd judged him closely, asking about both his past and his high house line, clearing his rank. Gerdo detailed he belonged to a high realm, getting cautious regard as a result. Brightly chuckling, he comforted Kanan that both were highborn, making her feel less worried. Grasping her higher rank, Kanan asked pardon while Lloyd shifted his conduct neatly to display honor, speaking to Verona and Balgus with attention. He displayed honor while pointing out their presence formally. Gerdo detailed that faith among peers made sure all 3 would pass in being fully passed. Balgus backed Kanan, stating faith in her magic talents and boosting her brave resolve. Giving a direct prompt, Gerdo asked Kanan to join them for a joint dish later. Kanan called out to her brother, indicating worry as the rising event grew increasingly hard around them. Gerdo clarified regional habits, detailing how lower-ranking persons could share views politely with superiors. Stepping forward, Lloyd Fearless named himself as Kanan's protective brother, set to step and firmly speaking to Gerdo directly. He stressed the friction of obeying another realm's marquis totally without terms. Grasping his view, Gerdo got ready for a fair match while weighing Lloyd's thoughts carefully. Facing Lloyd, Gerdo asked whether an evil empire marquis could truly stand lower politically. Lloyd detailed that the Sky Realm lacked a king today, giving past weight to the evil king, getting ready for the coming test. Both sides aimed to show who owned better magical talents. Gerdo displayed direct attention, wishing Kanan success while displaying he was invested in her output, valuing the backup. Kanan readied herself proudly, set to meet the test with full focus. Playfully upset, Kanan claimed her brother must show command, claiming respect among others there right away. She stressed her brother's skill, declaring him the top in the Sky Realm and top tier globally standing high. Lloyd quietly accepted the praise, thinking deeply about his duty and role truly. Preparing herself, he walked forward to guard Kanan, acting as her guard and firm protector. Resolving to guard her fully, Lloyd guaranteed no injury would reach her through the testing phase. Lloyd and Kanan enjoyed their victory pass, finishing the first test near the giant guardian fox. Thinking about Mayuria's success, they felt she must have also cleared her tests easily. Driven to grow, Lloyd practiced harder to let Mayuria reclaim her rightful elder rank. Both swore to offer their best force in the following test together boldly. The memory displayed Mayuria's youth, her magic talents, school success, and coming home early wisely. Kanan displayed irritation, still feeling upset about the sudden events that took place earlier that day. Reacting heavily to teasing from a peer, Kanan's temper flared while Lloyd watched quietly nearby. A male pupil displayed striking fire magic, catching Lloyd and his young sister right away. Kanan judged his skills carefully, spotting his cool nature behind the strong fire display. Lloyd evaluated other pupils' magic types, taking note of strengths, flaws, and key perks systematically in class. Watching his magic talent closely, Lloyd and Kanan valued the purity and top power displayed. Praise toward her talents made Kanan blush, admitting her fine command and striking magic skill. Lloyd praised Kanan's talent in mana tuning while the Guardian Fox silently watched the scene. Kanan struggled, trying to shield the weak mana crystal, displaying her fast reactions neatly. Let Facie Primrose watch quietly, studying the pupil's actions and progress mindfully during the magic test. Kanan's strong mana strained the magic device, almost bringing it to shatter from pressure. Releasing his mana, Lloyd amazed everyone, displaying striking control and fine command of magic power. Both Kanan and Letfacia were stunned by how he held control over huge strength. Lloyd chose to go on with tests quietly, displaying modest habits while displaying great magic skills successfully. Only Kanan and Lloyd could truly see his top magic power among other pupils. Letfacia focused on Lloyd's mana, feeling its depth, force, and rare magic traits carefully. Yuyuka Amanagi showed up quickly, startling Letfacia while studying the pupils' test sheets with deep interest. Showing her head status, Yuyuka casually checked each student's magic skill with strong focus and thought. She spotted one pupil cast a huge wave of mana earlier, pulling her interest. Pondering the rare amber-white mana, Yuyuka asked about the student's overall weight and magic skill closely. Letfacia checked the temporary mana totals, understanding they could prove wrong or perhaps tricky unexpectedly. Focusing on Lloyd's file, she validated her past thoughts regarding his wild magic talents correctly. The pressure broke Kanan's magic crystal, showing the scale of her huge magic skill clearly. Yuyuka ordered Letfacia to gather the tested pupils' magic devices and drop them to her lab. Thinking about Lloyd's talent, Yuyuka wondered what tricks he might show during the practice fight later. Seiba Mitsurugi details the battle test, where pupils send their mana into a separate arena. He guides candidates to walk into the set magic ring, pointing out outcomes might transport them. Rin, the second princess, glows with joy, eager to meet her brother later. Seiba notes he also keeps a sister, hoping relatives stay clear of fights, grabbing the boy's interest. He offers appreciation to the pupil, asking him to step onto the shift ring. Lloyd focuses deeply, preparing for the magic fight, treating it just like a true clash. He scans the empty land mindfully, seeing the open match space prior to making any step. Gerdo steps out from behind a sharp stone, stating Lloyd will act as his stepping block. He details the opening, proudly noting he now holds the chance to defeat Lloyd flatly. Gerdo warns that this point is where Lloyd will surely be made to quit. Lloyd stands firm, sure he cannot accept loss despite the opponent's extreme pride. Gerdo taunts him, asserting that mana force determines the magic clash, leaving zero path for win. Lloyd stays focused, realizing Gerdo makes light of him due to his weak look of magic power. He readies to retaliate, knowing Gerdo aims to scorch the illusion constantly to defeat him. Gerdo shoots the Firefinger bullet, a focused flame strike directed straight toward Lloyd's target form. He chuckles, confident the strike will break Lloyd, mocking his power without displaying any pause. Lloyd activates First Guardian style, forming a safe ring of protection around himself. Waiting for the hit, he watches the flames mindfully, studying Gerdo's strike steps to guess each dangerous turn neatly. Gerdo is stunned. Lloyd stays up despite pulling huge strength from the Flame Demon Lord. Lloyd details the strike's force is bound because Gerdo's mana is drawn solely from himself. Gerdo states his intent to destroy Lloyd, summoning Fire Ghost to burn the entire arena. He creates giant fire spirits, dividing them neatly to totally trap and hard-press Lloyd. The called fire spirits pursue Lloyd, built to burn him fully and block any chance to flee. Lloyd uses a swap move, leaving only his mind behind to avoid hits from all sides. He smartly tricks the ghosts into hitting each other, making them crash and get destroyed. Lloyd glides carefully, telling Gerdo against looking only at the front while stepping behind him. He faces Gerdo, asking if the tough fight ought to stop now or go on further. Gerdo pauses, amazed, as Lloyd's smart method and control push against the rival's past firm pride. He backs up cautiously, rethinking the duel, due to Lloyd's unexpected tactical moves and method. The view shifts, showing Gerdo and Lloyd's thoughts beside children, highlighting lessons that were gained. Gerdo admits there is no turning back, giving totally to his actions with firm resolve. He voices pain, showing the hurt linked with being the third son in his house. Lloyd sees the flames have turned totally dark, feeling a major shift in magic force. He names the dark force as strong darkness mana. Realizing Gerdo's strike is far more lethal, Gerdo calls the Flame Demon Lord, aiming to burn everything with strong, punishing fire. He summons the sinful fireball, fusing his flame ghosts and dark energy into a giant strike. Gerdo names it as the third strike, set to finish the clash flatly without pause. Rudius Greyrat declines to withdraw, summoning all his energy to cast Sinful Fireball. He shoots the fiery strike at Lloyd, resolved to conclude the fight definitively. Lloyd Estrella blocks the fireball effortlessly, focused and aware he must avoid defeat. He strikes back with Third Guardian style, matching Rudius's power using precise control. Lloyd deflects the magic using Lunar Reflection, his reaction shining like a full moon. Lloyd Estrella lifts his hand, preparing to reveal his complete magical power. He gathers energy, shocking Rudius, who cannot believe anyone wields demon god power without a pact. Lloyd applies the first and second Guardian styles, generating protective shields for himself and his target. He triggers the third Guardian style, turning the rival's magic into a blade to counterattack. Rudius struggles while Lloyd pushes him back, compelling him to face his overwhelming strength. Rudius's hands start to fade.
Saan na nakalagay? Eh... Di ko dala cellphone ko ah.
showing the weakening effects of this fierce magical conflict. He struggles, releasing a powerful spell with all remaining energy toward Lloyd. Lloyd counters through skillfully redirecting the attack across the rocky battlefield, maintaining control. Lloyd examines Gerdo's repeated attacks, noting that defending takes less mana for a skilled fighter. He realizes the fight is an illusion, needing careful mana management to hold his defenses. Lloyd Estrella starts teleporting, marking the completion of this magical examination. He arrives inside a mysterious hall, realizing he has not returned to his body yet. Rudius notices the imperial princesses of the 6 empires approaching inside the hall. He stands in the middle. Uncertain about the true aim of this sudden scene, Lloyd slowly turns, spotting a familiar figure behind him, increasing his uncertainty. Rudius is bound in chains, experiencing a familiar, intense feeling from a previous encounter. He sees the exact scene repeating, with a mysterious girl entangled within the chains. Rudius watches as the girl seems confused and distressed, struggling to comprehend her situation. Kanan calls out desperately, recognizing her brother, revealing her anxiety and relief. Rudius finally sees Kanan safe, releasing a sigh of relief as all danger fades. Lloyd remembers his arrival at the school, feeling the weight of his duty and expectations. He realizes coming here was a wise choice. Spotting Arsmeria nearby, her presence comforting. Kanan appears, her face filled with recognition and comfort upon seeing her brother. Lloyd remains silent, unsure how to reply, watching the sudden reunion before him. Kantan voices her worry for him during the combat test. Admiring his strength and grit, Kantan apologizes, admitting she is overly anxious, her face flushed with emotion. Lloyd reassures her quietly, thinking of his duty to protect and keep her from crying. He promises to stay by her side forever, pledging to shield Kanan until the very end. Kanan enters the academy, discovering a special building designated for elite students. A smiling girl welcomes Kanan, stating she knew Kanan would join this academy, eventually feeling shy and flustered. Kanan is comforted as the boy promises to stay near. Watching them quietly, Kuzunoha Tilfa and Yuzuriha Tilfa feel curious about their growing bond. The twin princesses keep watching Kanan and her friends, tracking their interactions with careful focus. Kanan and Lloyd notice the beast princesses, wondering why they stand so close nearby. Kanan introduces herself formally, sharing her Sky Empire lineage, presenting Lloyd as her protective brother observing closely. The twin princesses wonder if Kanan and Lloyd are true blood siblings. Kuzunoha Tilfa and Yuzuriha Tilfa clearly state they are sisters. Introducing themselves politely to Kanan, they explain age matters little between them, showing equality while highlighting their deep family bond. Lloyd admires the sisters' tight bond, agreeing that having a friend as a sister is wonderful. Kuzunoha Tilfa hugs Yuzuriha Tilfa warmly, declaring her sister is also her most cherished companion. The sisters show joy, and Kanan observes, realizing how deeply they truly understand each other. The twin princesses mention they are part of the special department, observing new classmates. They note, no imperial princess is left isolated, offering support for students around them. Lloyd detects a guard watching from afar, mindful of the strong beastman's vigilant presence. He senses pressure from the nearby beastmen, yet finds no malice coming from the princesses. Kanan and Lloyd step behind a magic curtain to block any prospective interference from spells. The guard carefully monitors their steps, analyzing every motion Kanan and Lloyd perform together. Twin princesses explain they can smell the distinct scent of a powerful beastman nearby. They describe how Bast resides in the forest near the Fearless Estate, carrying them. Forming a pact with a Sky Empire citizen is tough for the king of Cat's beast. Lloyd steps forward cautiously, unsure how the creature will react to his attempt to mount. The sisters sniff Lloyd, verifying he is honest and his intent seems completely sincere. Now they conclude the beastman's aura is reliable, implying the cat will likely accept and cooperate. The princesses bring up cat powder while watching Lloyd, wondering about its purpose in this scenario. Lloyd attempts stopping Kuzunoha and Yuzuriha from approaching Bast, while the giant beast waits patiently. He explains giving Bast silver vine liquor earlier, worried about its potential effect on him. Bast reassures him the drink has minimal effect, calming everyone present with gentle words. Kanan reminds the princesses to keep proper decorum despite the drink tasting surprisingly good today. Kanan teases Lloyd to remain calm, while the laughing princesses watch the scene unfold closely. Lloyd formally greets Bast, honoring the beast guardian as a respected and unusual warrior. After gathering details about Bast, the princesses decide it is time to depart now. Waving goodbye cheerfully, the twin princesses promise to meet everyone again at school tomorrow. Kanan watches Lloyd, noticing he interacts naturally with the twin princesses and their allies. Lloyd and Kanan choose to follow the others. Agreeing to proceed together without delay now, 2 instructors stand waiting at the academy's gate preparing to welcome Kanan and Lloyd officially. Letitia-sensei and Siba-sensei extend congratulations, acknowledging Kanan and Lloyd's success and academic progress. Kanan receives praise regarding her grade mana affinity and illusion combat score among nobility. Amanagi-sensei verifies Lloyd's mana affinity and announces a future retest to track his growth. Lloyd receives warnings to remain cautious if choosing to go, considering potential dangers ahead. Siba-sensei discusses Lloyd's illusion test score, turning the topic toward his combat skills directly. The deputy director, overseeing the examinations, personally requests Lloyd's presence to discuss vital student matters. She stresses the meeting's importance, highlighting her direct role and the urgency of this discussion. The noble title, Eyes of Jurisdiction from the Dragon Race, conveys a daunting presence of power. The deputy director highlights Lloyd's rare clear mana and emphasizes his remarkable research value. Now appreciation is extended to Lloyd for joining the school, replacing the headmaster's personal note properly. The director shifts focus toward the primary topic, stressing the weight of this talk for everyone. Kanan and Lloyd ready themselves attentively as the deputy director starts asking questions directly and sternly. She informs Lloyd that a high-priority task exists, demanding his complete focus during this crucial talk. Boldly, Leon entered the academy's primary office, requesting permission for special enrollment. The chief carefully reviewed his form and stated it exceeded allowed enrollment limits. She mentioned an objection prevented any ranking of the 6 imperial princesses above 7th place. Leon requested the princesses join his class, and his petition gained instant approval. He requested her support to ensure a safe environment for the princesses' studies. Inspecting a large map, Leon noted 7 empires had forged alliances, promising lasting peace. Thinking of the princesses, he realized private matters could not interfere with their school duties. Firmly, Leon promised his class would uphold proper discipline despite obstacles that might arise. Unexpectedly, a young lady named Mayu appeared in the hallway, surprising Leon instantly there. She clarified she was merely temporarily teaching, reassuring Leon while keeping her cool composure. Recognizing Mayu as his mother, Leon noted her disguised appearance while remaining fully aware. Surprised, he inquired about her reason for being present at the academy so abruptly. Miu explained she returned as a temporary teacher assigned specifically to the elite department. She assured Leon she handled discussions in the capital, preventing any trouble back home. Showing affection, Leon embraced her, appreciating the loving, supportive side of her presence fully. Lloyd and Kanan spotted Mayu as their mother. Feeling comforted by her soothing presence, Mayu stated she must stay objective, prioritizing her job as teacher over maternal feelings. She instructed them to address each other formally, enforcing proper manners within the school. She reminded them they officially became students of the magic school, taking classes daily. Mayu advised they walk toward the dorms while sharing news and recent events. Mayu urged Kanon and Lloyd to jump onto her chest whenever walking felt tiring. Kanon promised to support her completely, offering full effort while following Mayu-sensei's direction carefully. They reached the noble housing area, prepared to step into quarters for every represented realm. Mi pointed toward the Sky Empire's home, guiding them directly to the proper quarters. They were welcomed warmly back, marking their safe return under Miayu's caring eye faithfully. Two maids introduced themselves as Sawyer and Cosette, offering aid to the fearless household. Leon observed the maids, asking whether they were also enrolled as Magic Academy students. They clarified being second-year scholarship pupils, working duties to cover tuition costs through labor. Prepared for daily tasks, the maids showed readiness to contribute efficiently to household chores. Kanon showed passion for cooking, asking for the chance to work alongside the hard-working maids. Leon impressed elders with his conduct who were charmed by his responsible, gentle nature. He asked Mayu for approval to explore the grounds alongside his faithful companion, Tito. Mayu permitted Tito to roam freely, offering adequate space for the creature to run. Observing closely, Leon praised the prepared zone, noting layout included a dedicated space for Tito. A guest from the Holy Empire arrived, drawing focus as an official guard approached swiftly. Tito ran ahead, leading Leon and Kanon toward the approaching figure with impressive speed and urgency. Claudina, guard to Holy Imperial Princess Elysial Denka, formally introduced herself to Leon politely. Leon asked about the reason behind Claudina's surprise visit arriving at such an odd time. Claudina explained that the elite division, including princesses and their guards, formed a single class. She noted the division also contained top-ranking students alongside other chosen representatives for classes. Claudina clarified Elysial Denka had targeted the top scorer during the recent trials. Even Ryunia Denka, Dragon Princess, declined the freshman representative position, passing it to others instead. Leon realized a top-scoring student existed outside the known 6 Imperial Princesses. He admitted having no extra info about ranks, showing his confused and worried look clearly. Claudina thanked Leon for responding and politely asked pardon for the sudden questioning. Aurelius Denka, the demon princess, battled for top place in the trial, showing great ambition. Later, she shared her thoughts with the other princesses, clarifying her plans politely and clearly. Ryunia Denka instructed Leon that she wished to fight alongside the right person in combat. Claudina alerted Leon that the elite department students would start lessons scheduled for tomorrow promptly. The entry ceremony was set for 3 days later for all pupils in the division. Claudina advised Leon to exercise caution when dealing with the Demon Empire princess during upcoming events. Kanon woke gently, smiling brightly as she greeted her brother Lloyd, her eyes filled with tenderness. Lloyd stirred in his bed, surprised to see Kanon leaning over him, the morning light streaming into the room. He wondered if Kanon had left her own room while he had briefly drifted off, thinking about her sudden arrival. Kanon realized she had fallen asleep unexpectedly beside Lloyd, her face blushing as she tried to compose herself. Elsewhere, Lloyd kept to his morning routine, lifting a bucket at the well, focused and oblivious to Kanon's earlier actions. Lloyd pulled water from the well, unaware that 2 maids anxiously watched from nearby, trying not to stare. The maids quickly covered themselves using towels while Lloyd carried the bucket carefully. Focused on his job, Kanon approached, reminding Lloyd about washing with warm water to avoid catching a cold, gently scolding him. She handed him a towel, asking him to cover up, her face a mix of worry and tenderness. Lloyd and Kanon stood together as the maids looked on, flustered, noting how close the moment seemed between them. Lloyd and Kanon arrived at the school gates, observing the strict guards and sensing increased security. Kanon voiced concern over the heavy security, while Lloyd pondered the reason behind such alert measures. Inside, the massive hall displayed representatives from 6 realms, each princess standing gracefully, marking an important gathering. Lloyd noted the absence of the Oni realm princess, preparing to greet the attending royal princesses alongside Kanon. Instructors introduced themselves, Siba Mitsurugi overseeing spell combat and Letitia Primrose managing spell theory, marking the start of official lessons. Aurelius received orders from the headmaster, told to extend her arms as part of an official demonstration. She reminded everyone that this hall held representatives of every realm, stressing proper decorum and respect. Aurelius explained that building mutual respect among nations was the Pope's command. Though it seemed pointless to some, she firmly declared that her kingdom's honor was supreme, refusing to join lessons unless that rule was respected. Ryunia Midgard, the Imperial Dragon Princess, quietly stated she had been resting, observing the tense exchanges around her calmly. Ryunia clarified she had been sleeping because the conversation involved topics she deemed trivial. Shocking others, she reminded the group that the magic ranking ought to be public, pointing to a top-tier student. Human Imperial Princess, Susiri Hoshizuki, firmly objected, asserting that treating anyone like an object could not be pardoned. The spectators whispered as Ryunia and Susiri exchanged harsh words, each assessing the other's power and stature. Ryunia glared at provocations, indicating she would not reply to cheap taunts, keeping her imperial composure. Ryunia demanded answers from the instructors, urging them to explain why magic measurement data was kept secret. She spoke to the teachers with authority, determined to reveal the truth behind the scores. Kanon and Letitia questioned the secrecy, stating their disagreement with the idea that every person's rank should be equal. Ryunia pointed out Lloyd Fearless, the Sky Realm's Count family heir, asking for verification of his identity and achievements. Lloyd realized Aurelius had discovered he was the top-scoring student, his victory acknowledged amid sharp scrutiny from the crowd. Ryunia stated that Lloyd's entry to the basic department did not concern her. Keeping focus on her imperial duties, she spoke to Elysial, noting that their realms held different Sky Pact terms, pointing out historical differences. The Sky Pact was defined, 1,000-year, old treaty maintaining peace, letting every nation maintain its core values. Ryunia highlighted the evil realm's value. Battle was allowed only if rooted in honor governing her nation's laws. She contrasted this with the Dragon Empire's Sky Pact, which banned fighting, explaining their nation evaluated strength without warfare. Lloyd stood with Kanon behind him, understanding the weight of the moment, getting ready for the imminent challenge. Ryunia declared that in this venue, Lloyd was the sole person capable of taking firm action. She raised her fan, signaling her power, stressing that this instant could trigger something momentous. Ryunia challenged Lloyd Fearless directly, announcing a match between them, making the crowd aware of the coming duel. Lloyd Fearless confronted the princess in the central hall. She stepped forward, challenging him to a duel. The princess inspected Lloyd's lineage, noticing he was not a blood relation, merely an escort questioning his authority. She showed the master and servant ring, a mighty relic passed down inside her royal bloodline, declaring her goal, she intended to bind Lloyd as her thrall once she beat him, invoking the Sky Pact. Lloyd's status was now tied to her terms, trapping him in a risky magical treaty he could not turn down. The princess escorted Lloyd Fearless to the arena. Her expression stayed resolute, indicating the grave duel ahead. Lloyd readied himself, consenting to fight using only a blade. Concentrating on technique over magic, he stood tense, mindful of the burden of facing a royal princess before observers. A mentor warned him the stakes were high, losing would make him a thrall forever. Lloyd nodded. Resolute, he chose to fight using all his power, refusing any regrets during the fight. Lloyd Fearless prepared to channel his energy. The princess and another ally quietly cheered him. Watching with hope, he stepped inside the arena. The huge structure loomed over him, filled with shattered glass and echoes of past fights. Lloyd surveyed the area. The arena resembled a sight from his homeland, bringing back memories and tactical ideas. The princess reminded him that their fight remained invisible to outsiders, isolating the battle for safety. Before combat started, she permitted Lloyd to speak. He asked for clarity, preparing to move with speed and focus. The princess admitted she had acted hastily, showing a rare trace of modesty in her look. Lloyd observed her carefully, noticing slight shifts in posture that revealed deeper thought beneath her bold front. She thought back on expectations, acknowledging that Ryunea should be ranked highest, doubting the fairness of the result. Although the youngest, she wished Lloyd and others to respect her power and resolve as a princess. Lloyd evaluated the duel ahead. His most formidable potential rival was not from royal blood, but an escort of account. The princess thought back on leaving the demon realm, admitting that Lloyd was the first to teach her about the wider world. She asked him to lead her forward, revealing a fresh world she had not yet explored. Lloyd entered the third illusion arena, preparing for another tricky match with intense focus. Onlookers noted Lloyd's immense skills, admitting that as teachers, they could only watch his peerless skill. The princess and her allies resolved to observe closely, unable to step in. As the next stage of the duel unfolded, the match finally started as Lloyd entered the arena. Onlookers watched quietly while tension filled the air. The princess launched a quick strike, startling the watchers with its raw strength and speed. Lloyd faced the prison of time shrouded in crimson mist, ready to withstand the lethal crimson glare. The audience noted her plan to control Lloyd using her evil eye, aiming to make him her thrall. Aurelius released a massive spell, intending to settle the fight with one single decisive hit against Lloyd. The princess praised Lloyd fearless, admiring his brave stance for not fleeing the duel, feeling hesitant to end it so quickly. She fired a mighty attack, but Lloyd leaped nimbly, avoiding the main impact of her strike. Spectators were stunned. Lloyd had dodged the evil eye without pulling his blade, claiming an advantageous spot. His response to the attack amazed watchers, including fellow students and teachers, who quietly praised his skill. The princess reflected inwardly. Though Aurelius was formidable, Lloyd's skills were far greater than she first assumed. The princess inquired how Lloyd endured the evil eye. He stood calmly, looking almost impossible to read. Lloyd explained that even indirect effects of the evil eye ought to impact a person, questioning her logic. He shared his secret, letting his body react automatically, bypassing the eye's influence completely. Lloyd's defensive style, mindless repetition, triggered. Even with his mind blank, his instinct governed his motions perfectly. The princess understood his plan. He avoided the evil eye entirely by setting magic commands to act without conscious thought. The princess wondered how Lloyd could predict her plan, shocked by his deep tactical insight. He reacted swiftly, dodging her evil eye and the raw power she aimed, displaying unbreakable accuracy. She realized that for a man like him, honor could still be kept even amid fierce combat. Lloyd remained composed, showing he could respect her stature while fully committed to the match. The princess accepted defeat, admitting she had already lost because he countered her evil eye smoothly. The princess stated that it made no difference as long as she was the last person standing. Facing Lloyd fearless, she remembered that he had unlocked the gate and entered her fort, offering her the chance to fight directly. Even the worst disasters brought little threat to him. She realized her own power alone might not suffice. With confidence, she openly voiced her desire for Lloyd, proving her intent to continue the match without doubt. Lloyd wielded his twin blades, generating a flurry of red petals. Magic swirled fiercely around him. Arsmeri appeared, urging Lloyd to draw his blade completely. Her face showed resolve and readiness. Lloyd analyzed the magic movement. Guardian-style tracks enabled him to trace every path accurately. He anticipated Arsmeria's strike from her right side, timing his actions to counter quickly. With a jump, Lloyd executed Mayfly, his guardian wings dissolving into the sky, avoiding danger cleanly. Lloyd leaped, intending to exploit Aurelius's magic drain. He calculated her attack from the left carefully. He formed a ring of protection, guarding himself as sharp magic fragments threatened to hit. Lloyd monitored Aurelius's method. Her mana formed glass-like patterns in midair, revealing her strategy. The magic failed to pierce his barrier. Lloyd's quick action negated her fang's deadly range completely. Aurelius's crystal flowers floated in midair, draining mana while her spell displayed sharp, lethal execution. A new watcher observed Lloyd closely. She noticed he had not raised a mana barrier yet. His spirit was intense. Lloyd hovered amid Aurelius's crystal flowers. He could feel the flow of mana where they bloomed. Aurelius charged forward, taking advantage of the split-second Lloyd created. He stayed ready, despite the sudden strike. Her fangs targeted him, but Lloyd's speed and defensive skills neutralized the danger immediately. Lloyd held Aurelius tightly, steadying her. Their eyes met as tension and unspoken trust passed between them. Lloyd carried Aurelius midair, drifting through the scattered crystal flowers quietly, both taking a breath. Aurelius looked at Lloyd with a mix of surprise and shyness. He silently acknowledged her presence politely. She questioned Lloyd, asking why he had not drawn his blade. Lloyd kept his quiet composure. Lloyd clarified that her look had seemed helpless, proving he grasped her feelings without words. Aurelius's face showed deep thought. Their tense fight softened, exposing vulnerability and trust between the two fighters. A mysterious princess stood before Lloyd. Her calm eyes challenged him, testing his power silently. She reflected on her own fear, realizing she must confront Lloyd and her past bravely. Aurelius wondered if she would feel terror if Lloyd drew his blade, testing her inner resolve. Lloyd observed her closely. Despite changes from old memories, Aurelius held his focus entirely. He met her gaze directly, determined to engage the girl before him fully, honoring both trust and tension. Aurelius admitted Lloyd's talent, surprised he exceeded her expectations despite the fierce fight. She saw him as the person offering her hope, inspiring her to keep going without quitting. Lloyd noticed the heavy mist wrapping around them, hiding Aurelius' motions but unable to block her presence. Aurelius declared herself the first princess of the Grand Shark line, standing firm at her own risk. Lloyd thought about her seriousness and devotion. Realizing Aurelius treated him like a true knight, honoring his role, Lloyd voiced his resolve for his honor. As a knight, he would answer Aurelius' challenge with full force. He swore on his blade to fight Aurelius using all his strength, leaping toward her decisively. Aurelius heard her mother's solemn words, reminded that she carried the Grand Shark lineage's future on her shoulders. She answered with bright resolve, promising to honor her family's dignity and duties without doubt. Later, Aurelius paused before greeting Elysial, feeling shy and guarded as she approached the quiet, distant girl. Memories of her own youth and curiosity pushed Aurelius forward, keen to reconnect and taste friendship once again. Her mother warned her sternly, emphasizing duty and the need to never yield to the holy princess, shaping Aurelius' resolve. Aurelius understood her life's focus, accepting the burden placed upon her back. She resolved to outshine everyone in talent, power, and knowledge, giving herself to constant growth. Determined, she admitted she must not lose and had to embody the ideal of the demon princess. Her ambition expanded further, declaring she must rule over everything and master her fate without compromise. Aurelius stepped forward firmly, leaving childhood behind, tossing aside leniency, and committing fully to her path as a dominant ruler. Aurelius looked back on her journey, realizing all her effort had finally brought her close to equality. Despite her tireless work, she noticed that both Elysial and Ryunea failed to view her as a rival. She felt the sting of being ignored, yet her drive did not drop. Aurelius grasped that their only shared link was their title as princesses of their kingdoms. Above all of them stood the figure who ranked higher, guiding Aurelius toward fresh ambitions and tests. Aurelius learned that the escort she respected hailed from the Sky Realm, a noble line once vital to peace. She read about the ruler who built the Armistice Barrier, a leader removed from records yet heroic. Curiosity about the ruler and his deeds sparked Aurelis' wish to understand true strength and command. She squeezed her fist, determined that her power had to be proven in combat as a genuine agent of the Demon Empire. Aurelis swore that if she could defeat and earn respect from the strongest, she would secure her spot in history. Aurelis was shocked to discover the person who ranked above her came from the far Sky Empire, a simple escort by status. She pondered the history of the Sky Realm, a nation that halted every conflict guided by a secretive ruler squeezing her fist. She resolved that power alone should dictate honor, and she would not back down. Aurelis promised to defeat and gain recognition from him, securing her status as a